It was a quiet night in a small village in northern India. The stars shone brightly. The dogs were sleeping. The air was calm. 12-year-old Avi stood on the rooftop of his house, watching the sky with his grandfather's old binoculars. He loved the stars. Every night he would sit there and count them. But tonight, something felt different. The stars were moving. Avi blinked. He rubbed his eyes. But yes, they were moving slowly. A group of stars were forming a straight line. In the sky, no sound, no flashing. Just silent, glowing movement. He ran downstairs. Papa, Dadaji. Come look, something is in the sky. His father came up lazily, still holding his phone. But as he looked, his eyes grew wide. That was not normal. That was not a plane. That was not a satellite. And then all mobile signals went dead. Phones stopped working. TVs turned black. Internet routers blinked out. Across the world, the same thing happened. In New York, Paris, Tokyo, Cape Town, and Cairo. Darkness. In space, satellites spun out of control. And in the upper atmosphere, the shadows came. Scene 2. The UN Command Center in Geneva. Commander Raina Mikhailov stood in the United Nations Global Security Command Center. She was 38 years old. A brilliant ex-space pilot. Calm, sharp, and never afraid to speak the truth. The room was full of flashing red lights. Commander, a tech officer said, we have visual confirmation. 43 unknown objects are entering Earth's orbit. Speed? Raina asked. They slowed down. From light speed to 8,000 kilometers per hour. That's not natural. No known propulsion can do that. Raina looked at the screen. A giant triangular-shaped object hovered above Europe. It didn't move, it just waited. Try to contact them, she ordered. No. Response on any known frequency. But the officer hesitated. Something is piggybacking on our satellites. They're sending a message, Raina nodded. Play it. A strange voice filled the room. It was deep, metallic, cold. We are the Dark Armada. You left us in the void. Now we return. Submit. Or be erased. Silence. Raina's fingers clenched. She knew this was no joke. This was not a drill. Scene 3. Meet Leo, the outcast hacker in a dim room in Hong Kong. 26-year-old Leo Zhang sat in front of 5 computer screens. Long hair, half-eaten noodles, and fast fingers. He was a hacker, but not a criminal. He called himself a truth hunter. When the sky went dark and the signals died, Leo felt excited. Something big was happening. Something real. He had already tapped into the signal sent by the Dark Armada, but he saw something strange. There was a second layer to the message. Not just the voice. A silent data stream, encrypted, old code. But Leo knew how to break it. As his fingers danced on the keyboard, strange words appeared. This is not what it seems. The enemy is not in the sky. Look inside. Leo froze. What did that mean? Suddenly, the power in his building cut off. Damn, he whispered. He grabbed his hard drive and ran. Scene 4. Shadows over cities in the next 24 hours. The 43 alien ships positioned themselves over major world cities. One over New Delhi. One over Los Angeles. One over Moscow. People panicked. Some prayed. Some celebrated. Religious leaders called them angels. Scientists called them invaders. Governments called them a threat. But the ships did not attack. They just watched. And then a second message came. This time, everyone heard it. TVs turned on by themselves. Phones glowed even without signal. The voice returned. You have 7 days. Your leaders know the truth. They left us to die. We have come to take back what was stolen. What was stolen? Who was left to die? The questions were louder than the answers. Scene 5. The secret Raina sat alone in her office, watching an old file on her private tablet. Project Prometheus, a blacked-out file. Top secret. She had only seen it once before. It spoke of a secret mission 180 years ago. A deep space colony sent from Earth, no return, no contact. And now, the Dark Armada says Earth left someone behind. Could they be human? Her thoughts were broken when she received an emergency message. Encrypted transmission detected from Hong Kong. Contains second layer Armada signal. Trace it, she said. Bring that person in, now. Scene 6. Leo in danger. Leo ran through crowded streets, avoiding cameras. His hoodie up, bag tight. He knew the signal he decrypted was not meant for the public. And now, someone was after him. A black van followed him. Not police. Not soldiers. No logo. Men in suits chased him through a marketplace. Leo ducked, jumped, and ran into an underground subway. He knew he had little time. He opened his laptop, even without power. The battery barely lasted 10 minutes. He sent the file to every secure channel he knew. His final message: the truth is hidden. The Armada didn't come to invade. They came to warn us. He hit send right before the men found him. Scene 7. The data leak. The file Leo sent reached Reyna. It contained voice data, ship blueprints, and a translated logbook from one of the Armada ships. The ships were not alien in design. They were built by humans. At least once. The logbook said. They left us in the black. They used us for testing. Now Earth must remember. Or Earth must fall. Reyna closed the file. She had chills down her spine. If this was true, humanity had created its own enemy, and now they were back. But why the silence? Why the waiting? What did they want? Scene 8. A new voice from the sky. On the 6th night, a new message came, but this one was not from the Armada. It came from Earth's oldest satellite, Voyager IX. It'd been dead for 50 years, but now it spoke. In a soft voice. They are not our enemies. They are our mirror. Remember Prometheus. Remember the children we sent into darkness. They became the Dark Armada. Now they return, not for war, but for truth. The world stood still. Some still called it lies. Others saw the fear in their leaders' eyes. The shadows in the sky waited. But the time for silence was ending. Final scene. A child's vision. Back in the village, Avi again stood on his rooftop. He saw the same lights, the same shadows, but now one of the lights blinked twice. It blinked at him. He waved. And for a moment, just a second, he thought he saw something. A face inside the ship. A human face, not alien, not monster. Just someone lost. Someone coming home. Leo Jiang was breathing fast. He was hiding behind an old car in an underground parking garage. His clothes were dusty, his laptop bag tight around his shoulder. The world outside was panicking about the giant ships in the sky. But Leo was worried about something else. People who were trying to stop the truth. He had just sent out a hidden message from the alien signal. Now someone wanted him gone. His phone buzzed once. No number. A simple message appeared. You are being watched. Leave now. He didn't wait. He stood up, ran to a motorcycle nearby, hot-wired it in 30 seconds, and drove off into the rainy night. He had to reach someone who could help. He had to find Commander Reyna Mikhailov. Scene 2. Reyna's dilemma in Geneva. Inside the UN Security Command Center, Commander Reyna sat with her hands on her face. She hadn't slept in 2 days. The alien ships, the Dark Armada, were still in the sky. They had not attacked. But they had also not moved. The world was waiting, and so was Reyna. On her screen was Leo's decrypted file. It showed 2 parts of the alien signal, one public, one secret. The public message: submit or be erased. The secret message: this is not what it seems. The enemy is within. Look inside. She replayed the signal in slow motion. Hidden inside the audio was an old Earth code used by deep space explorers over a century ago. Why would aliens use our code? She whispered Dot unless. They were not aliens. Scene 3, global reaction. Chaos begins across the world. The leaked message spread online. Conspiracy theories exploded. Some believed the Armada was sent by ancient humans. Others said the ships were time travelers from Earth's future. Religious groups said they were divine beings. Military leaders called for war. In Washington, the U.S. president announced Operation Sky Shield. Thousands of missiles aimed at the ships. In China, an energy beam was prepared to strike the ship above Beijing, but Raina warned them all in a UN meeting. We don't understand them yet. Attacking could start a war we can't win. Let me make contact. No one listened. Scene 4, a secret meeting. Raina left the UN building and traveled in a black car to an old bunker in the Swiss Alps. Inside, she met Dr. Ellen Kaz, a rogue astrophysicist who was banned from the Science Council years ago. Ellen had wild hair, fast eyes, and a sharp tongue. You still chasing stars, Raina? She joked. These ones are chasing us back, Raina said. She showed Ellen the signal. Ellen stared for a minute, then nodded slowly. I've seen this code before. A long time ago. Raina narrowed her eyes. Where? In a project we were forced to delete. One that talked about a lost colony. One we sent ourselves. Scene 5. The truth about the Armada. Ellen walked to a locked cabinet and pulled out an old data chip. Project Solaris, she said. 180 years ago, Earth sent people to explore deep space. They were told they'd return. But they never did. Why not? Raina asked. They were sacrificed. The mission failed, or maybe Earth abandoned them. We were told to erase the project. Raina played the chip. A video opened. On screen, people in Earth uniforms boarding massive ships. A mission. Leader says, we go to build a better future for all. Even if we never return, Raina stared. The ships looked like the ones floating above Earth now. Scene 6. Leo breaks through. Leo finally reached Geneva. He disguised himself as a delivery man and made his way to the UN building. Using an old ID chip from a friend, he entered the back gate. He made it to the command floor just as guards spotted him. Wait, he shouted. I'm not your enemy. I decrypted their second message. Guns were raised, but Raina stepped in. Hold your fire. That's the hacker. She looked at Leo. You risked your life to send this. Why? Leo held up a small device. Because I think they're not attacking. Because they're waiting for someone to listen. He looked her in the eye. And I think they're listening to me. Scene 7. Voice from the Armada. Raina and Leo worked together. In a sealed communication room, they used Leo's hack tool to send a signal back to the Armada. A message in the old Earth code. We received your warning. We want to understand. Who are you? Minutes passed. Then something happened. A reply came. A deep voice. Clear, with no static. We are your forgotten, your past. You left us in the void, but we are still human. Raina's breath caught. Leo leaned forward. Why return now? The voice replied, because Earth's core holds the final truth. And others are trying to hide it. We are not your enemy. But someone is. Scene 8. The real threat begins at the same time, inside the White House. A general entered a secret chamber. Inside stood a man named Kale. He was tall, pale, wore a black suit, and had cold, glassy eyes. General Adams said, the Armada made contact with the UN. What now? Kale didn't blink. We proceed. Begin the countdown. Adams hesitated. But sir, what if they're telling the truth? Kale turned his head slowly. They're not the threat. We are. His voice was strange, like it echoed even. In silence. And then his eyes turned silver for 1 second. Scene 9. Project Horizon, back in Geneva. Dr. Ellen explained something even deeper. There was a second part of the old mission, A backup plan. Something hidden underground. Where? Reyna asked. Under the Alps. A bunker. Cody name. Project Horizon. What is it? A machine that controls memory. It was meant to erase the past. If things went wrong, Leo looked shocked. You mean Earth erased history on purpose? Ellen nodded. Yes. That's why no one remembers the old mission. We made ourselves forget. Scene 10. Attack begins suddenly. Alarms blared. Missile launched from Beijing. A high-speed weapon shot toward the Armada ship over the city. Everyone watched, but the ship did not move. Instead, a shield appeared, glowing blue, and absorbed the missile without damage. Then for the first time, the Armada ships moved, not to attack, but to broadcast. Each ship projected a giant hologram in the sky. A face. A human face. Old. Tired, wearing a patch with the word Prometheus. He spoke. You sent us to find hope. You left us to die. Now you must remember. The world gasped. Final. Scene. A message from the past. Later that night, Reyna, Leo, and Ellen sat together. They had decoded one more file from the Armada. A message from a captain. Written 170 years ago. He said, if you find this, it means we survived, but we are not the same. We built our own world in the darkness. Now we return, not to conquer, but to stop what Earth has become. We have seen the future. And it ends in fire. Reyna looked at Leo. What future? Leo answered softly, the one we still have time to change. Scene 1. The calm before the storm. A cold wind blew across the Swiss Alps. In the mountains, under snow and rock, the entrance to Project Horizon opened for the first time in 120 years. Commander Reyna Mikhailov, hacker Leo Zhang, and scientist Dr. Ellen Kaz stepped inside. The tunnel was long and dark, covered in frost and dust. This place was erased from all records, Ellen said. Only a few of us ever knew it existed. Reyna walked ahead, her flashlight cutting through the shadows. What exactly are we looking for? Leo asked. Ellen replied, the truth Earth was too afraid to face. Scene 2. Memories from the deep inside the bunker. They found a large circular room filled with old servers, machines, and a single glowing console. It looked old, but still alive. Ellen stepped forward. This is the memory core. It stores blocked historical data from before the Silent Century. Reyna raised an eyebrow. You mean Earth had an entire century erased? Ellen nodded. Yes, the century where the Prometheus mission was launched. Leo connected his laptop to the system. The screen blinked, then words appeared. Restricted, Level 9, Project Prometheus records. Leo cracked the code in 11 minutes. The files opened. And what they saw changed everything. Scene 3. The real Mission A video began to play. It showed a young female scientist speaking in a lab. She wore a Prometheus badge and looked hopeful. If you're watching this, we didn't make it back. We were told we were Earth's future, but it was a lie. We were test subjects. Disposable. More files loaded. A document titled Phase Omega appeared. It said, selected 7,000 humans. Sent beyond Mars to establish colonies. Monitored psychological breakdown. Measured evolution in isolated conditions. Return mission canceled. Leo's eyes widened. They were an experiment? Reyna's fists clenched. We created them. Then we threw them away. Scene 4. The Earth Council's secret. At the same time, in a dark room under Washington, a secret meeting of Earth's global leaders began. They had seen the Armada's hologram broadcast. The truth could not be hidden any longer. President Morrow looked furious. The public is panicking. The Prometheus leak went viral. Another leader spoke. So what do we do now? Then, Cale entered the room. The strange, cold man with silver eyes. He spoke calmly. We keep control. We push fear. Let the people demand action. Then, destroy the ships. But they're human. Someone shouted. Kale smiled. They were. Scene 5. Betrayal from within inside the bunker, as Reyna and Leo studied more files. Hélène looked uncomfortable. She stepped away from the console. She pressed something on her wrist. In a whisper, she said, "Phase 2 complete." "They're unlocking it," Reyna turned around. "What did you say?" Ellen froze. But before she could speak, the power in the bunker shut down. Red emergency lights flashed. The memory core began to overheat. Leo shouted, "We're being hacked." Reyna drew her weapon. "Who are you working for, Ellen?" Ellen's voice trembled. "I didn't know. I thought they were trying to protect Earth." "Who?" Reyna yelled. Ellen said one word, "Kale." Scene 6. Escape and revelation. The doors started to seal. "Run!" Leo shouted. They grabbed the hard drive, disconnected the power manually, and sprinted through the collapsing tunnel. Explosions echoed behind them. They barely made it to the surface before the entire bunker caved in. Reyna fell to her knees in the snow, panting. She looked at the drive in her hand. This is everything. Every hidden record. Every lie." Leo stared at the sky. "Then we better show the world before they bury it again." Scene 7. The broadcast back in Geneva. They uploaded the memory data to satellites still under their control. Across Earth, people's screens lit up. Phones, TVs, billboards, VR, headsets. The truth spread like fire. Old footage, documents, videos. From Prometheus survivors. Images of children in deep space, growing up without sunlight. Voices of mothers crying, saying Earth forgot them. A captain screaming into a broken radio, "Why did you abandon us?" The world watched in silence. The illusion broke. The Dark Armada were not monsters. They were humans, twisted by isolation, time, and betrayal. Scene 8. Earth turns against itself. Riots broke out. Protests in New York, Berlin, and Mumbai. People demanded justice, demanded truth, demanded to speak to the Armada directly. Governments tried to stop the spread. But it was too late. The people now knew. And above the planet, the Armada finally moved again. They sent a new message. "We do not seek revenge, we seek remembrance. But if the ones who betrayed us still rule, we will end them." The threat was clear, not to Earth, but to the ones controlling Earth. Scene 9. Kale's true form in the deep shadows of the Earth. Council's base. Kale stood in front of a strange machine. He placed a hand on it, and it opened like a flower. Inside, glowing wires pulsed like veins. Kale whispered, "They remember too much." His body shimmered. Not human, not alien, something in between. "I was born in the void. I watched Earth's lies grow. I shaped your leaders. Now, I must finish what I started." His silver eyes glowed. Scene 10. Message from the Forgotten. Child. That night, across the sky, one final message was sent. Not from a leader, not from a soldier, but from a child. A little girl born on a Prometheus ship, her voice soft and scared. "We never asked to be weapons. We never wanted war. We only wanted to come home. Please, don't forget us again." Reyna wiped a tear from her cheek. Leo nodded slowly. "They're not the danger. We are." Final scene. The countdown begins. The last frame of the decrypted file showed something terrifying. A hidden Earth defense program. Protocol. ERASURE. It had a dimer. It was activated by Kale, and it would launch nuclear satellites. In 72 hours. The screen flashed. Targets Dark Armada SHIPS. Countdown. 71 hours 58 minutes and 12 seconds. Reyna whispered, "If we don't stop this, Earth will start the war." Leo looked up. "Then we have 3 days to save both worlds." Scene 1. The countdown. A red clock ticked on a large screen. Countdown to strike. 71 hours 52 minutes and 9 seconds. hidden inside Earth's satellite defense grid. Protocol Erasure was live. 12 warheads, each powerful enough to destroy a city, were targeting the dark. Armada ships hovering over Earth. In the UN war room, no one spoke. They all stared at the screen. "We must stop it," Commander Reyna said. A general replied, "We can't. The system is locked. It answers only to Project Overseer." Leo turned to Reyna. "Overseer, it's Kale, isn't it?" Reyna nodded. "But who or what is Kale?" Scene 2. Kale's origin far below the Pentagon. Kale walked through a black hallway lined with glowing cables. He entered a hidden lab. Inside, clones floating in blue tanks. Some human, some not. A voice called out from the shadows. "Kale, they found the Project Horizon files. The truth is spreading." Kale didn't turn. He replied calmly. "Then we accelerate the plan." He stood in front of a terminal and activated a file. BIO classified. Project Ascendant Subject. KOL. It showed Kale's origin. He was not born. He was built a hybrid created from human DNA and alien data collected during deep space probes 200 years ago, designed to survive space, to influence, to adapt, to control. Scene 3. A plan to kill the countdown. Back in Geneva, Leo spoke quickly. "There's a backdoor into the satellite grid." It was written by the same programmers who designed Earth's first AI defense system. "But," Reyna asked, "but what?" "It was stored in the Ark, the digital library, under Iceland. And now it's offline." Reyna straightened. "Then we're going there." They moved fast. Reyna, Leo, and a small team boarded a stealth aircraft heading toward the Arctic skies. Time was ticking. Scene 4. Dark Armada reacts above Earth. The Dark Armada did not stay silent. Their ships changed shape, opening panels that glowed with deep blue light. They didn't attack. They didn't run. Instead, they waited. On one ship, a figure in armor stood before a giant screen. Her name was Admiral Thea, leader of the Prometheus survivors. She had sharp eyes and a cold scar across her cheek. "Earth prepares to fire," said her officer. She replied, "Let them. We've seen worse." "Do we attack?" "No," she said. "We wait." The child's message changed everything. "But if Earth launches," she turned to the stars, "then we show them what we became." Scene 5. The Akraina's team landed near a frozen mountain. Hidden inside was the Ark, a secret digital vault storing lost knowledge, AI cores, and ancient satellite codes. They entered the frozen facility. It was cold, dark, quiet, until Leo's flashlight caught something. A dead body. "One of the keepers," Reyna whispered. "We're not the first ones here." Inside the mainframe chamber, the lights flickered on. A robotic voice spoke. "Warning. Viral code detected. Security lockdown initiated. Please identify." Leo stepped forward. "I'm here to stop protocol erasure." The AI replied. "One moment. Scanning DNA. Match found. Access granted." Reyna looked shocked. "You never told me your father worked on this system." Leo stared at the screen. "I didn't know until now." Scene 6. Unlocking the truth. The eye opened the code files. Lines of old Earth code scrolled fast. Leo moved quickly. "Fingers flying," he said. "I can disable the nukes, but only if I bypass the overseer layer." Reyna asked. "Can you?" Leo didn't answer. Instead, the screen blinked. A window popped up. "Live transmission requested." Reyna's eyes narrowed. "He knows we're here." Leo clicked accept. Kale's face appeared. Calm, cold. "You're persistent," he said. Reyna replied. "We know what you are." Kale smirked. "Then you know I cannot allow the past to return. Chaos must be managed." Leo spoke. "You're afraid. The Armada isn't your enemy. The truth is." Kale leaned closer. "The Armada will bring more than truth. They bring the virus of memory, and I was built to erase." Then the screen cut. Scene 7. Hack in the ice suddenly. The Ark shook. Explosions. Rayna shouted. He's sending drones. Metal attackers crawled in through the ventilation systems, machines, controlled by Kale's network. Gunfire echoed through the halls. Rayna fought hard. Leo kept coding under fire. A drone fired toward Leo, but Rayna jumped in front, blasting it away. You okay? She asked. Leo nodded. Almost there. Then the countdown screen appeared. Override attempt detected. 2 minutes to strike. Leo growled. He's trying to shut us out. Rayna shouted, Do it, Leo. You're our only chance. Leo typed fast. And with one final keystroke, the screen blinked. Protocol erase. Terminated. Scene 8. Silence above all around Earth. The sky seemed to go still. 12 nuclear satellites shut down. Missiles powered off. In the UN command center. People cheered. Some cried, but Kale did not. He stood in his chamber, staring at the blank strike screen. He whispered, You made your choice. Now watch what comes next. He pressed a new button. Activate protocol. Black Veil. Scene 9. The real war begins above. Earth. The Dark Armada detected something strange. A pulse. Not from Earth. From within Earth. They looked confused. What is this? Her officer shouted, A signal deep underground. Not from the humans. And then one of their ships exploded. Something invisible hit it. They stood. They lied, she said coldly. They weren't preparing to fight us. They were preparing to fight something else. Back on Earth, Rayna and Leo saw the screen flicker. New message appeared. Black Veil initiated. All prepared assets awakening. Rayna whispered, What is Black Veil? Leo stared. I think it's not human, and it was buried under Earth a long time ago. Scene 10. The hidden enemy in the deepest parts of the Earth. Old machines began to move. Massive. Mechanical. Alien. Sleepers from another time. Not from Prometheus. Not from Earth. But from what came before. Earth's memory even began. Kale watched them rise through the Earth's crust, his eyes glowing bright. The Armada was never your true enemy. He whispered, They were the warning. I am the last lock. And now the gate is open. Scene 1. Something rises in the middle of the Sahara Desert. The ground cracked. A deep, low sound echoed through the sand. Dust blew high into the air as a massive metal structure pushed upward. Not a ship. Not a missile. A sleeper had awakened. It was shaped like a tower, glowing with black light, humming like it was alive. In the sky above, satellites recorded the moment. The Dark Armada turned their ships to face it. Admiral Vea stood on the command bridge. Silent. That's not human. Tech, her officer whispered. Vea nodded slowly. No, that's older than human history. Scene 2. A signal from the past inside the Ark in Iceland. Leo stared at the monitor. Rayna stood beside him. The screen blinked with strange symbols. It's not a virus, Leo said. It's a broadcast, ancient, coded deep inside the Earth's magnetic field. Rayna frowned. How old? Leo replied, At least 100,000 years. Rayna's voice dropped. But humans weren't even advanced back then. Leo clicked play. A strange voice echoed from the speakers, slow, deep, emotionless. We are the architects. This planet was our vault. You were not meant to wake. Now the lock is broken, and the hunger will return. Rayna whispered, What hunger? Scene 3. The hidden vault. Meanwhile, Kale stood before a deep underground portal. The black door opened as the sleeper systems activated. Behind him, rows of Guardians robotic sentries awakened. Kale spoke to them. You were created to defend Earth, not from invaders from the stars, but from the old ones beneath its skin. He looked up toward the surface. They broke the cycle. Now we must finish what the humans failed to do. One of the Guardians turned to him. Protocol. Erasure. Failed, Kale answered. Then initiate protocol. Seal fire. Scene 4. They is offer high in orbit. They has sent a message directly to Earth. It appeared on every world leader's screen, on military channels. Even Leo's laptop. They has stood in front of a glowing star map. We did not come to conquer. We came to warn. This world, it holds something ancient. Something wrong, it's waking. And if it escapes, your planet will be the first to fall. She paused. We know them. We fought them before. They ended our sun. Now they will end yours. She looked directly into the camera. You left us in space, but we still came back to save you. Scene 5. The black bloom in the Amazon jungle. Trees began to die. From the forest floor, black roots spread like fire. Animals fled. Rivers turned dark. One of the sleepers had fully awakened there, and it was not silent. It sang. Not music, but a deep, vibrating frequency that made birds fall from the sky and machines glitch nearby. In a science outpost near Manaz, researchers screamed as their instruments exploded. One man looked outside and whispered, "It's growing." The black tower had begun to bloom, petals of metal and shadow unfolding. It wasn't technology. It was alive. Scene 6. A forgotten war. Leo and Reyna met with Admiral Vea in a secret orbiting meeting pod. For the first time, human and Armada leaders sat in the same room. The Yi showed them a star map. Your Earth is not special, she said. It is one of many vaults the architects built long ago. Reyna asked, vaults for what? Vea replied, for things they could not destroy. Only sleep could hold them. Leo whispered, like prisons? Yes, said Vea, and one of them is beneath your world. One woke before. On a planet we lost. Vea placed a glowing orb on the table. It showed a planet being eaten alive. Not destroyed by war, but unmade, consumed by black tendrils. Cities crumbling into dust as the ground itself changed. Reyna stepped back. Leo whispered, that's Earth if we fail. Scene 7. Humanity divided back on Earth. Panic spread. Governments argued. Some wanted to join the Armada and stop the sleepers. Others still believed the Armada brought the threat. A rogue Earth General Briggs spoke to the UN. We don't trust aliens. We don't trust their warnings. We stand alone. We strike first. He ordered his fleet to power up old orbital weapons. Reyna called him. General, this isn't a war we can fight alone. Briggs replied coldly, that's your mistake. I'm not fighting to win. I'm fighting to survive. Then he ended the call. Leo turned to Reyna. We have two enemies now. Scene 8. The signal child returns a surprise message. Interrupted global broadcasts. It wasn't from the Armada or from Earth's leaders. It was her, the little girl from the Prometheus ships. She was older now. Maybe 14. She stood on the bridge of a small ship, behind her stars spinning. Her voice was calm but strong. You are afraid. So were we. But fear gave birth to monsters. Please don't repeat the mistake. She held up a book, old and torn. We learned Earth stories. Heroes, hope. Don't let them become lies. Then the signal cut. Scene 9. Attack from within. Suddenly, Earth's orbit shook. The rogue General Briggs had launched a test strike, aiming at the Amazon sleeper. The missile hit. For 3 seconds. It looked like it worked. Then the sleeper screamed. A shockwave blasted out. All over the Earth. Other sleepers began to awaken faster, like they were linked. The Sahara Tower bloomed. One rose from under the ocean near Japan. Another burst out from Antarctica. Kale saw this and spoke only one word, unsealed. Scene 10. United we fall. Oriza, Reyna and Thea returned to the UN. This time, no more speeches. No more lies. Reyna stood before the Earth Council and said, we may have created the Armada. We may have betrayed them, but they came back for us. And now we stand on the edge. We either fight beside them, or Earth becomes a second graveyard. There was silence. Then, one by one, hands raised in agreement, the first human Armada alliance was born. Final scene. The whisper in the core back inside Earth's core. Deep below, the main sleeper pulsed. A voice older than time spoke from within it. It whispered not in sound, but into minds. Even Kale paused. We are hunger, we remember. And we are almost free. Kale stepped back, his voice shook. Then I have failed. Scene 1. Earth's last meeting in Geneva. The United Earth Council met with the Dark Armada High Command. Inside a tall glass dome, leaders from both sides sat at a long table. Outside, the sky was no longer blue. Strange clouds circled Earth from the sleeper's activity. Reyna stood at the center. Today, she said, we do not meet as enemies, we meet as survivors. Thea, the Armada Admiral, stood beside her. We cannot promise victory, but we promise to fight as one. Leo activated a star map behind them. 4 sleeper towers had fully awakened. Sahara, Amazon, Pacific Ocean, Antarctica. Each tower was spreading a black network underground towards the core. They're connecting, Leo said. Once they complete the link, Earth dies. Scene 2. The War Council. Each side shared their weapons. The Armada had advanced warships, energy cannons, and star shields. The Earth Defense Force, EDF, had tactical nukes, old orbital cannons, and fast jets. Kale was not present. No one knew where he had gone. They spoke. We can hit the towers, but not destroy them. They repair too fast. Leo added. Then we hit the link, the lines connecting them. Reyna nodded. We break the chain before the last tower awakens. Their plan was simple but dangerous. Armada ships would strike from orbit. EDF would launch ground attacks. Leo would deploy a virus to slow sleeper growth. One chance. One shot. Scene 3. The hunt for Kale while others prepared for war. Reyna had another mission. Find Kale. He had disappeared after activating Protocol Sealfire, using a deep signal trace. Leo located Kale in Greenland, inside a deep, frozen lab project. Horizon's original vault. Reyna flew alone to confront him. Inside the vault, Kale stood before a huge sphere pulsing with light. Why are you here? He asked. Reyna raised her gun. Because you hid everything. You built fear instead of trust. Kale didn't flinch. I didn't hide it, he said. I carried it. He walked to the sphere. This is Earth's true core. Not molten metal, but memory. The architects hid a prison here and made me its warden. Reyna lowered the gun. Then help us. One last time. Kale turned slowly. If I help, I may not come back. She replied, none of us may. Kale placed his hand on the sphere. It opened, and the room began to shake. Scene 4. Into the void far above. The Armada launched its first strike. Ships blasted toward the Amazon sleeper. As they reached it, the tower opened like a black flower and fired back. Energy beams cut through. One Armada cruiser, but Earth jets led by Commander Briggs rushed in behind, dropping high-yield bombs on the tower's base. Thea's voice rang in comes. Focus fire. Right side. They're trying to absorb the impact. The tower's skin shifted like muscle, healing rapidly. Then, something new happened. Creatures began to rise from the base-twisted things. Part machine, part fossil. They have defenders now. Someone shouted. War had truly begun. Scene 5. Leo's mission in a stealth pod. Leo and a small team flew below ground using an old mining tunnel. Their goal: upload a digital virus into the Sahara sleeper's base. As they descended, the tunnels became unnatural metal veins in the rock growing like roots. One soldier whispered, "This place isn't dead." Leo agreed, "It's waiting." They reached a core chamber. In the center, a pulsing black node part machine. Part heart. Leo connected his drive. The virus uploaded. Suddenly, the node moved. It opened an eye. Leo's screen blinked. Identity confirmed. Kale's code. Access. Granted. Warning. Core self-activating. The node began to glow red. Leo screamed, "Get out! It's waking up early." Scene 6. Kale's final choice in the Project Horizon vault. Kale stood inside the open sphere. His body began to change, glowing with blue light. His circuits awakening. Rayna backed away. "What are you doing?" Kale replied calmly, "Giving Earth one last guardian." His voice echoed with power. "I was designed to seal, but I must now destroy." He uploaded himself into the Sealfire core, a weapon hidden for this moment. Rayna shouted, "Kale, stop, you'll die." He turned, smiling for the first time. "I was never alive, Rayna. I was just waiting." With one flash, his body vanished. The vault shook. Far away, all 4 towers pulsed. Kale's final signal had reached them. Scene 7. The chain breaks, back in orbit. Thea and Briggs coordinated a final assault on the Pacific Tower, the tower that connected the others. "We cut the core," Thea said, "or we all burn." All ships fired at once. The tower screamed again. From below, Leo's virus kicked in. The black roots began to decay, slowing, twisting, freezing. Then Kale's code arrived. For a second, every tower blinked, like it was confused. And then the Pacific Tower collapsed. A shockwave spread around the globe. The connection broke. The bloom stopped growing. For now, the chain was shattered. Scene 8. After the fire, the war room fell silent. Earth had survived. Barely. 1 tower was destroyed. 3 remained, but dormant. Rayna stood on a damaged Armada ship, looking at Earth from space. Leo joined her. "We won," he said. Rayna shook her head. "No, we bought time." They walked in. "Our sensors show the core is still active. The hunger is still there." Rayna looked up. "Then we fight again. Together." Scene 9. 1 graveyard less. Back in the ruins of the Project Horizon vault, only silence remained. Kale was gone, or was he? Deep inside Earth, in the center of the old architect vault, a blue light still blinked. Waiting. Watching. The final lock may have held, but the key was now inside the gate. Scene 1. A silent planet. The crew of the Aegis, Earth's first joint ship with the Armada, floated in orbit above a ruined world. This planet had once been home to Colony Sigma, one of the Earth's lost outer worlds. Now it was silent. Mountains were black glass. Oceans had dried up. Leo stood at the ship's window. Rayna walked over. "What do you see?" he whispered. "What Earth will become if we fail. They came here for a reason. Colony Sigma had survived a sleeper awakening once. If anything was left, it might be the key to stopping Earth's own doom." Scene 2. The last archive on the surface. The air was thin. Rayna, Leo, and 2 Armada scouts stepped into a broken facility. Signs of battle were everywhere: scorch marks, melted walls, dried bones. At the center, a glowing crystal hovered over a broken pedestal. Leo scanned it. "It's an archive," he said. "Old AI tech, pre-Sleeper War." The crystal lit up. A voice played. "This is Colony Sigma Command. We sealed the sleeper. We burned our cities to stop it. 1 survived the process. Subject 0, stored in the mine shell." Rayna turned to Leo. "What's the mine shell?" He checked the scan. "It's not here anymore." Scene 3. Return of the Signal Child back aboard the Aegis. A strange signal interrupted their systems. A face appeared on the main screen. The Signal Child. Now 14. Calm and focused. She was in a small ship again, drifting among stars. "I felt your visit," she said. "Colony Sigma was our birthplace." "You followed the echoes?" Leo asked. "Did you survive the sleeper here?" She nodded slowly. "I did. But I was changed." "Like Kale," Rayna frowned. "Where is Kale?" The girl looked directly into the camera. "Kale isn't dead. He's dreaming inside Earth's core. And he's not alone. Scene 4. Whispered Visions. That night aboard the ship, Reyna couldn't sleep. Her dreams were filled with strange visions. Kale's voice, repeating, "The lock is cracking. The others are waking. Don't follow the sound. Silence is survival." She awoke gasping. In the room next to hers, Leo had the same dream. They ran to the main chamber. Leo showed a scan from Earth. The Antarctica tower had begun pulsing again. Reyna spoke slowly. "They're not just connected by machines." Leo whispered, "They're connected by thought." Scene 5. Mine shell recovered. Back on the ruined colony, the Armada scouts discovered a cave. Inside was a smooth white shell, organic and metallic at once. Leo's scan beeped. "It's the mine shell," Reyna asked. "What's inside?" As they touched it, the shell pulsed, and Kale's voice spoke. "If you open this, you open a door not meant for mines. But if you walk away, Earth will fall. Choose." Reyna looked at Leo. They opened it. Inside was a single glowing crystalline floating. Inside it, a brain made of light. Not human. Not machine. Something else. Scene 6. Earth's sky turns red. While they explored Sigma, Earth's skies began to change. Above Antarctica, a massive storm formed, circling the black tower. It wasn't weather. It was a pulse, a wave of energy that made satellites crash and electronics fail. At the Armada base on the moon, they watched the footage. "They've begun the awakening." She turned to her staff. "Send the Aegis a warning. They have 48 hours before Earth's core unlocks." Scene 7. Inside the memory core, Leo inserted the glowing crystal into the Aegis main system. Suddenly, the ship shook. Everyone saw visions. At once, the architects building vaults across the galaxy. Sleeper creatures buried in many worlds. The destruction of 5 civilizations who failed to stop them. Then, one image repeated. Earth's core cracking open. Reyna gasped. "It's not just Earth. It's the last vault still sealed." Leo whispered, "If this one fails, the hunger wins everything." Scene 8. Broken minds, strong hearts. The signal overloads made some crew go mad. 2 Armada officers attacked each other. A human soldier locked himself in a room, screaming. Reyna stood in front of the crew. "We're not here because we're perfect. We're here because we're broken. But we chose to stand." Thea's voice came from the ship link. "We have less than 24 hours. We're sending the fleet. If the final sleeper wakes, we burn the planet." Reyna stepped forward. "Not if we burn the source first." She turned to Leo. "Take us home." Scene 9. Kale's dreaming self. As they neared Earth, Reyna felt a voice in her head. She closed her eyes. A glowing space appeared. Kale, standing alone in a sea of stars. He looked tired, older, but aware. "Don't have much time," he said. Reyna reached for him. "What do we do?" Kale whispered, "You must go inside. The final tower is not a machine. It's a mouth. It doesn't want Earth. It wants you." Reyna asked, "Why?" He replied, "Because you are still alive, and it feeds on fear." Then he was gone. Scene 10. One final plan. Leo, Reyna, and Thea formed one final plan. Thea's fleet would attack the Antarctica tower from orbit. Earth's jets would strike the underground routes. Reyna and Leo would enter the tower and plant the core virus directly. As the Aegis landed, the storm above was now blood red. From inside the tower, a low voice began to whisper across Earth. "We see you. We waited. Now we feed." Reyna loaded her gear. Leo looked at her. "If we don't make it back?" Reyna answered, "Then someone else tells the story." Scene 1. Countdown to collapse. Earth's sky had turned red. Lightning danced over Antarctica, where the final tower stood like a black crown. Inside United Command, everyone watched as energy levels rose. Leo checked the data. "The core's pressure is climbing. We have 6 hours before it rips the planet apart." Reyna stood beside him, wearing an armored suit. She nodded to Thea on screen. Begin the operation. Scene 2. Fire from the sky. The dark Armada fleet opened fire. Dozens of ships lit the sky, blasting the tower's surface. It screamed again, just like before, but now it grew as it was hit, absorbing energy. They gave new orders. Target the root system. Starbound's maximum charge. From orbit, 4 massive blasts hit the ice shelf, shaking the ground. The tower cracked at the base, but did not fall. Reyna spoke over the comms. Hold the line, we're going in. Scene 3. Enter the sleeper's mouth. Reyna and Leo boarded a dropship with a small team. They flew into the tower itself, through a hole that looked like a throat. Inside, it wasn't made of stone or metal. It was alive. Walls pulsed. Strange lights moved through the dark. One soldier whispered, "This place is breathing." As they moved deeper, Leo's scanner picked up massive brainwave activity. It's awake, and it knows we're here. Scene 4. The voice of the sleeper inside the core chamber. They found it, a huge glowing mass shaped like a heart with eyes. Beat slowly. The air was heavy. The team dropped to their knees. Then it spoke, not with sound, but directly into their minds. We are the silence between worlds. Your screams fed us. Your fear shaped us. Your pain is our gift. Leo tried to move but fell. Reyna, barely conscious, lifted the device containing Kale's virus. The sleeper laughed. That one is inside us now. His light flickers. Scene 5. Kale's final message. Suddenly, the air shimmered. Kale's hologram appeared, half code, half memory. He looked broken, but defiant. "Reyna," he said, "this thing cannot be killed. It must be closed." She crawled toward the core. "How?" Kale's voice cracked. "You have to seal the door. From inside. With a living mind." Leo screamed. "No, she won't survive." Kale looked at Reyna. "I didn't bring you here to die. I brought you here to choose." Scene 6. Reyna's choice. Reyna looked at Leo. He was crying, shaking his head. "I'll go," he said. "You still have a future." Reyna smiled gently. "You are the future. I was always just the key." She kissed his forehead, then walked to the core. The sleeper whispered, "You give your light. To end the dark, you are weak." Reyna replied, softly, "No, I'm human." She placed the virus inside the core and sat in its light. Scene 7. The last seal. Close as a pulse shot through the tower. Outside, the Armada fleet saw the tower begin to crumble inward. The energy wave reversed, pulling darkness back into itself. Sky turned white. On the moon, Thea whispered, "She did it." On Earth, Leo was pulled from the collapsing tower by a rescue team. He looked back as the entire structure sank into the ice and disappeared. The last seal was closed. Scene 8. 1 year later, the Earth healed slowly. 3 towers still stood, but were now dormant. No energy, no whispers, no threat. Kale was never found. Reyna never returned. Leo led a new team, the Echo Guard, a force to protect Earth from future threats. Humanity had changed. They were no longer just survivors. They were watchers of the gate. Scene 9. The final signal. On a quiet night, Leo sat alone on a hill. A small device in his pocket blinked. Just once. He pressed it. Recording played. "If you hear this, it means I made it through. Not alive, but not gone. The seal holds. But so do the memories. Tell them we were more than dust. We were a voice in the dark, and we were not afraid." It was Reyna's voice. Leo looked up at the stars and smiled.